Hot topic time, guys. Is Enel really food? Now, I have seen this in my Discord chat between one person I know that really vouches for Enel. He uses Enel. And I also seen a lot of people telling me, oh, the top players in my server are using Enel, or Enel is being used by so and so. But then I also hear a lot of people saying he's food. Now I can understand the counter argument of why he's food. It makes sense. We see a no and we're like, well, I'm gonna feed him to my kid or my Zoro, right? But looking at him, he's a pirate just like them, so he brings the same benefit to your team. That easy to upgrade factor. Uh, he can be fed in the future, really, if you choose to. I don't know what that was. If you choose to, and a lot of pirate characters, if I'm being completely honest, are very good to team assets and they have good debuffs. That's definitely what I notice about these pirate characters. They're very good team role players and they have good debuffs. So that's definitely a plus. Also, when you look at him, he's really one of the only AOE pirate characters in the game. So I can see why people would want to use him. He's also one of the, I don't want to say only, but close to the only AOE until Shank comes out that has the most debuffs and legit can seal off your whole team, which is an interesting factor when you look at them. So let's get into this hot topic. No, first skill. We're not gonna go into all the details. We're just gonna look at what it's really doing. So basically, his first skill is doing 127% damage AOE. That's a nice amount of damage, right? Thunderbird. When he attacks all targets, it tells us that 50% chance to cause static, which will last 2 turns. Now, static. If you compare him to other pirates, like who else has this? Excuse me, like the Wano Nami and Kid, they both have static. But their percentages are definitely higher. Whereas kids get that 90%. The only difference in this scenario is that Nell is AOE, and people tend to like that AOE, because the static can be applied to more than just one or two characters. So I can definitely see that argument being made. But my counter argument to that is, what would you rather prefer, taking the risk or having that guaranteed chance of it actually happening? And I know some people say, well, 90% can still, sometimes fluff, which is true. This game is kind of wonky in certain situations, but I take a 90% over 50 any day, and I will take kids higher percent of damage over this 127, even though it's AoE. But that first skill isn't enough to tell if he's really food or not. And I don't mean food as in the moment you get him, you feed him. Just like what I mean by food is he's just there for you to make him 6 star or 9 star and feed him after. In case anybody was confused by my earlier comments of what I meant by food. All right, first passive attack. Attack 40%. Definitely. He has the max attack that you can get. This is the highest that we seen. We seen this in characters like, I don't know if we've seen it in yeah, we've seen it in characters like Enel, even Zoro, and you also see it in people like Mihawk, and you will see it in people like Jinbei. So definitely, he's up there with the other DPS when it comes to your first passive. He gets HP and speed. So I think he's maybe one of the only DPS in the pirate faction to get HP. That HP that's given to him definitely makes him uh more, what is it called? More tanky DPS, just because that 20% of HP is definitely useful when it comes to a full on fight. Just the chance of him surviving and putting his debuffs on the enemy. Um, that's definitely how I view it. So that's a dub in my point of view. That's a dub. His first passive definitely grants him having that speed is also a dub. So one of the best passives I've seen on the DPS in a while, and I like it. I like it. First skill, second skill, my bad. So basically, another AOE skill dealing 150% damage. The max AOE skills, max AOE damage for the usual characters. He has static 30% chance. So the best thing about this, I guess, is that he has a chance to. Oh no, my bad. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Static target has 30% chance to be paralyzed. So the reason I see a downside in this move is just because we're debating on two chances. First, we're debating on the chance of him actually hitting that 50%, on at least one enemy. And then we're debating that, well, now that I've got you in my static where you're losing HP, you now need to hope that my 30% actually hits you. Um, the way I see it being effective, since it's AoE, he's definitely gonna get two. He's definitely gonna get one or more, maybe two or less. To be honest with you, two or less on his first attack to hit static, and hopefully out of two, he's gonna get somebody to be paralyzed. The best thing about paralyzed is damage reduction minus 5%. So you will take more damage from other moves, but it can be purged. So keep that in mind. If you're looking at it, the rest of the skill, non-static targets have 25% chance to cause paralyze, which also lasts turn. So the best thing about this is that even though we're debating on a luck base, right? We still have that other chance that, okay, even though my static effect isn't attached to you, I can at least still paralyze you. The only thing that really sucks about it, it's already a skill that can be purged, but only lasting one turn. One turn, my bad, isn't really that much of an effect. I also know Zoro's. If we go into him, his silence lasts one turn. That's also a real bummer I have about Zoro, but Zoro does more damage, so I can understand why it lasts one turn. Especially with Enel having that low percentage already, it's like, yes, I finally hit them with it, and then it's like, well, fuck, that's one turn. What the hell? Right? It just brings you down. It's like such a bummer. Like you're hitting that low percentage just to realize, well, it's only for one turn. Whereas Kid, he has his Chaos, which also has 25% last one turn, which also sucks. But his static at least lasts two turn, and it's at a higher percentage. Keep that in your mind, right? If we go into his second passive, Judgment, Thunderstrike now has 50% chance to seal targets. Seal targets can't deal crit damage. Disable passive skills last two turns. Now, passive skills basically, he would be disabling their boost in attack, HP, and speed. Basically, hold on. Let's go back. I want to read the how much percentage? 50%, right? So basically, now he's doing an AOE that not only has 50% chance to static, 25 to 30% chance to paralyze, and now 50% chance to seal. When you look at Enel's debuffs without the percentage, if you were to take the percentages out of his skills and just list all his debuffs, he's an S tier from my point of view. Paralyze, damage reduction to all minus 5 if it was 100%. Static, minus 15 HP loss per turn to all. Seal, to all. That would be broken if all those were even, you know 70 or higher percentage. That would be abysmal, basically, right? Because we're looking at him sealing this. He's sealing your buffs that your passive skills give you. Because we know your second passive is where, the buffs are kicking in. Like they're increasing your attack, increasing your healing. And just for the simple fact of him having that seal skill is what really makes him a good character, right? In my opinion. Um, but just once again, it's like you're flipping the coin every time you're using him. Because what if it doesn't happen, and what if it does happen, And then just the simple fact again that, when you're looking at Kid, I believe his attack skill can't be purged. Where when I look at Enel, every one of his skills can be purged. And in all honesty, um, if you are smart enough, you would at least try to have, you know, what's it called, a cleanse on your DPS. If I'll show you guys what that is, cleanse. Try to have a cleanse on one of your ruins, just for the simple fact that you don't want him to get debuffed at all, right? You will try to have a cleanse, and it also lasts one turn. The only best thing about this is that seal lasts 2 turns. Him banning the crit damage and passive skills is the best thing in his whole setup. I haven't used them myself to like give you guys the full confirmation of like if he's really trash based percentage wise, but really just looking at this and taking insight from it, um, I can't really say that I would use him any higher than 9 star. I mean, I know 10 star is giving me that 50%, but honestly, I'll take my chance with the 40 over the 50. The only best thing about this is you can really just give him combo. Hopefully, combo hits on his first skill, and now hopefully I actually hit one of my debuffs right. With Enel, it's just the chance of you actually hitting your debuffs. But the AOE characters will always do a good amount of damage. That's the best thing about them. So him being AOE is definitely useful. Like I said, his debuffs are good. I don't want to seem like I'm biased because his percentages are lower or higher than anybody. But in all honesty, this game is win or lose, and nobody wants to lose because of percentages, right? If he was given a buff a little, maybe if one of these, maybe if paralyzed, since it only lasts one turn, was honestly 60% or 50. I'd rather paralyzed be 50 than static, in my opinion, right? But just for the simple fact of that, I would consider him food at 9 stars, right? If you get a no at 6 stars and you're planning to use him in a team, go for it, right? Go for it. It's very, very useful. But if you have him and then you have Zoro and Kid right next to you, and you're thinking, well, shit, who's the pirate I want to use? Um, Definitely go for the latter, just for the simple fact that those two bring more benefits. I mean, as a debuff, they don't bring the best benefits as him, but damage wise and guarantee and what they can bring to your team, they bring more benefits than him. So that's really all I have to say about Enel. Like I said, food went 9 stars. Use him early game. He's good. He's not bad. If I was to list him within the DPS, I would definitely say he's up there in A, just because what he brings to the table. Especially when you're looking at a team comp type of lineup where you're trying to put a lot of CC and DOT onto the enemy. He's definitely up there with the others in high A for sure. Like I said, if they did boost his percentages, he would be OP. So I can see why they didn't do that. But even without his percentages boost, you can see the duration of his moves are just too short. They can be purged. Other than that, I have no issues with him now. If I wasn't such a fan of Zoro or Mihawk or Rayleigh on my main account, I would probably use him just to give him a test run. But this has been this has been hit or miss with Ivory. Tell me what characters you guys would like to see next. I'm out.